Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In this episode, we're going to be making a custom up pipe for the twin turbo Forester. Stay tuned. We're going to make a custom up pipe from my old equal length up pipe. So let's get into it. Alright guys, so we've got this flange here that'll bolt up to the stock manifold. So we're going to cut this up pipe here and weld that one on. I think I might move the petrol and the turbo. Alright, so I've got the up pipe in the saw, about to... Alright, lob that off pretty good. We need to obviously clean up all the edges because we're going to be welding here. But also, I'm going to weld in all studs or bolts, just like this one. Because the stock one has all the studs and I want to make it as easy as possible to mount the turbo. Alright, so I've cleaned up around there and we've cleaned up around here. So I've got to find some bolts that are worthy of turning into studs. Alright, so I just measured the length of the stud and it's 25mm. So we've got to look at some bolts that'll stick out or protrude out 25mm. So we are all the same. Alright, just welded the first stud on of the new ones. Now these ones can be shorter. This one and this one can be shorter because they are the mounting ones where they don't go through 11mm. They only go through about 3, so that's all good. Find another short one. We'll do this one. Pretty centered. I'm pretty happy with that. That one's offset a little bit. Should be okay. Alright, got this one welded in. It's pretty centered. I think it is centered. And I just got one more to go. I'm going to leave that one out. And then we can mount this up to the engine. And then we can start mocking up the other end. Alright guys, the last stud is welded on. I checked it on the turbo. It fits. So let's get it in the car so we can mock up this end. Alright, so I've tightened that up. And it's no different on the power steering lines. So I'm just thinking maybe I can swap the fittings around. So this one down here is straight and it'll go up towards the head, and the other one's 90 and it'll go away from the up pipe. Either that or we go back to the hard lines. Alright guys, I've just been going at it for hours. It's now 12:30 in the morning and I finally welded up the up pipe. We're at quite a bit, so we've added a little bit of material there. So this is really hot, so I'm leaving that flange on there so it doesn't warp. Yeah, it went in and out quite a few times, so we are good now. I will end up changing over those power steering lines because the way that this sits, because it was at equal length and the manifold sat down a lot lower, comes at a different angle than that one. So yeah, we'll change the lines over and we should be good. So we'll do that tomorrow. I'm glad that's all done. I'll see you tomorrow when we get it all back together, hopefully. Alright guys, I'm back. It's the next day, so time to get stuck back into it. We're going to be working on oil drains, power steering lines, and hopefully we can get this all back together tonight. So I've got about 3 hours to get this done. And then it's midnight, so it's about 9 o'clock now. Alright guys, so we're going to be swapping over those power steering lines, the ones with the silver fittings. So the 90 degree we've gone this side, straight one we've gone that one, and then the pipe will go in between them. So should be good. I'm going to change over that heat sheath to the silicon fiberglass one that I got, so hopefully we should be good with that too. So we're going to make a little bit of a mess, so let's get it done. Got the tub underneath, so if anything drips down it should catch it. Alright, so got the fittings up here now. As you can tell, it's caused a bit of damage there. So we'll get them off. Might even save this one. So that one's going to have the 90 on it, so hopefully it'll be okay. Alright guys, so I've got the first one on. Now I'm going to put the 90-degree one on. We've already got the heat sleeve on this. So if this is too short, I can actually just add a bit of hose here, which will extend it. So not too concerned if it's not long enough. Just going to be a bit concerned if the up pipe touches them. Anyway, you might not be able to see it now because it's covered in the heat sleeve, but it's there. Alright guys, got that fitting on. So all I've done is actually pop the reservoir out. So all we need to do is really extend that. But I do think I found some more Teflon one over there, which I'll get around to replacing that when the engine comes out for the cams. It's going to be a lot easier. I'll just jump in there and do it all. So I might not even extend this actually. I'll just make sure it's not on the cam gear there, and we should be good. We're going to chuck the up pipe in, see if it touches it at all. If it doesn't, we'll get the up pipe out and we'll push this all the way back down and start reinstalling stuff. Actually, I need to work out the oil drains. Alright, up pipe is on. We are good with the clearances. The 90 degrees doesn't touch it. We are good. One thing we might have to change is the GT35's oil drain, because this pipe for the up pipe sits a bit further back. So we'll test that out next. Alright guys, so I've been working on the oil drains. I've made up a new one. I've got a heat sleeve on it. I'm going to put this one on. I did try putting a 45-degree fitting on, and I can't get it on this side of the knuckle. So unfortunately we can't do that, because that would have put it out at a nice angle. And if I put it on this fitting before I put it onto the block, I wouldn't be able to get that fitting on, so that was out of the question. So let's see how we go with this 90-degree with the heat sleeve. It's pretty close, but it's not touching, so it should be okay. Alright guys, so I've decided to change the oil drain off the TD05 to a -10 instead of the standard drain. So I've measured up the length and we're about to cut it. Now the -10 is a little bit smaller than this hose, but it fits nice and snug on this Raceworks nipple fitting, which I can't get out with one hand. And that is pretty much the same size. So it's going to give me more length of hose, so hopefully we don't get a kink like that. And we're not coming down on an angle now as well, so we should be good. Alright guys, the new drain is on there, so we are pretty much ready to get that back on. Everything is good here. We just need to get the Raceworks fitting onto that T-piece for the drain, and then we can get the exhaust back on and we'll chuck the turbo on. Turbos, should I say. I've got the exhaust on. It's all bolted back up. And we are ready to put the turbos back on. It is midnight now, so we'll get them on, bolt that on, and make sure that we get the drain on here. And I might see how I go. Might call it for the night. Most of the other stuff is pretty easy. Just lines and, yeah, exhaust, whatever. Alright guys, it's 1:45 in the morning and I am struggling. I can't get the turbos on. And with that drain, it was that tight of a fit onto the bottom that it actually pulled itself out of the AN fitting, trying to get it back off. So I think it's just a cutter style one, but yeah. Also had the heat sleeve on it, which made it a bit fatter, which then in turn didn't allow the turbo system to sit properly because it was pushing it up against here. So I am going to leave it for tonight and come back tomorrow and see how I go. Alright guys, it's the next day. Hope you have enjoyed it so far, because I'm actually wrapping this episode up here. I've got a lot to do with editing, so we'll get that done and I'll get back out here tonight working on the FOS. If you enjoyed this episode, give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't yet, please hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch you next episode. Bye.